there's certain events where you should be fashionably late because people anticipate you being fashionably late.
Did you work for a fashion magazine?
No, and I never show up fashionable, aside from the fact that
No,
I'm
you
late.
definitely, yeah. Just when you're at the
I
company,
just mean clothing-wise.
you're just late. I think that's what we call it is.
But
Dudes, you're ready to go.
I'm only excited because we got you good.
Yeah, you did get me good. You know what's so funny is like when you play a joke, but then you kind of, and you base it off of something, and then you realize that what you base it off of was incorrect.
I didn't realize that it was scheduled
So
for
you thought the
1:15.
podcast was 1:00, but you actually set 1:15 to give us 15 minutes to get back from our appointment.
I did. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
knew that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you're paying attention. Anyway, I am late chronically. I mean, it's not just work, it's friends' houses,
That's your
parents'
life.
houses.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that are, here's the thing. There's certain events where you should be fashionably late because people anticipate you being fashionably late.
Did you work for a fashion magazine?
No, and I never show up fashionable, aside from the fact that
No,
I'm
you
late.
definitely, yeah. Just when you're at the
I
company,
just mean clothing-wise.
you're just late. I think that's what we call it is.
But anyway, long story short, I was late yesterday, and we've had a discussion about me being on time. And so today, I thought he was late for the podcast, so we played a prank on him that we were already recording. And
Yeah,
started.
I walked into the building and all the lights are out. So this podcast room is connected to our other room. So we just turned all the lights off, so everyone gets to work in the
So
dark.
we have the spotlight.
So this light is out, and I walked in and I thought, that's so weird because your office light was out when I walked in the front door, and I thought, is she going to jump out and try to scare me? Like, that's so bizarre.
No, but the first thing I thought when I walked in today and saw my office was, I cannot wait
To take all the decorations
to take
down.
the decorations.
Yeah,
down.
I'm actually going to do the same thing for my desk here shortly, too.
Who won?
Do we know who won the contest?
We have a tie.
Who is it tied between?
C and D, which is Chris and me.
Nice.
And you have a vote.
I got one vote.
He got one vote.
You have two, but one is you. So it was
What?
Well, one of his is him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that make you the winner?
Are you the winner then? Because I did vote for myself.
Did you see that? She just disqualified my vote.
I know.
By the way,
Because who voted for you?
Here's it. Someone else aside from me voted for me. Okay.
Okay, but did you vote for yourself too?
Because I saw that you voted for yourself. What we're talking about here is
Okay,
that there was a Halloween
Here's the thing.
decor
So,
contest.
This is our first Halloween in the office. We've brought on team members. It's really the company's first Halloween outside with people, other than myself.
Well, 100%. The building didn't even exist until January.
Exactly. So what we did was,
Like, I don't know where you were.
We've talked about culture in a lot of our podcasts and just building company culture. One of the things that I happen to love Halloween. I love people decorate. It's a great opportunity to bring some decoration and a change of scenery one time a year, because Halloween is all about decorating and everything else. I mean, technically Christmas is too, and people can bring in stuff, but you don't really
Here's the thing.
have competitions.
By
over
the time
Christmas.
you get into Christmas, everyone's so worried about spending money on buying presents, decorating their own house. Like, not everybody decorates their own home for Halloween or
That's true.
has to outlay a lot of money. So it's a
But
better
most people
time of
decorate
year.
or dress up for the actual holiday.
Right.
And so we decided to have a desk decorating contest. And
it goes way back. Like you and
I mean, this goes way back
when we
for-
very
for-
first
for you
started
and I.
working together, there was a Halloween competition and we went out of control.
Well, it was my department against your department. And
Essentially, there was an entire company that was competing, but really it came down.
we're really
Everyone was like
recruiting people into our
our worlds of who was going to beat who because we made a deal of it. But what happened is that because of our competitive spirit, actually years later, the entire company and their departments, like there were a couple of other people who came
Entire
on board who
departments,
really
yeah,
like
who-
led the charge of trying to take us down.
What a great example of just leadership, right? Because like people in departments are like, okay, guys, we're going to organize, we're going to do things. And we had every department coming up with themes,
These
all
people,
being fun against
they were
each other.
staying after work, after hours when they weren't getting paid. They were spending their own money. Not that these are expectations by any means, but it was like an opportunity for them to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
they wouldn't have otherwise get to know each other a little bit outside of the day to day of just, doing
And then we had a big Halloween party. So we celebrated Halloween yesterday, and
in the office.
we
Well,
had a
it's-
person, and I'm not going to say his name, Rich, who was supposed to come and judge for us. And he was a no-show. And not a no-show because he technically not a no-show, right? So if you message someone and you say, "Hey, I can't make it," you're not a no-show. If you message someone day of, you're a no-show. So we're going to
So
call
then he
Rich out.
was a no-show.
We definitely need a clip of this because I want to send him the clip in our podcast. So Rich,
well, he really
actually, the person who's judging, not to be named Rich, didn't. So what we ended up doing was
we
taking
ordered him
pictures.
lunch too. So
Oh,
we
and
were
we ordered him
we were
lunch the
forced
day
to
before.
eat his food.
And I ate his lunch.
We had extra
If I
food.
see him, I'm going to eat his lunch.
No, and we did. We wanted see, and I do believe, Rich, that I would have had a better chance of winning had he have been here because mine is something you really need to see in person.
Right. I would agree that yours was more of an experience. I know I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's an experience.
Look,
And,
I took the pumpkin competition home. I'm not worried about the
Yeah.
desk
So
decorating.
basically, we decided to do what we do with the pumpkin competition, which is paste pictures of the pumpkin. So we paste a picture of the desk, ask people to vote,
online.
and it looks like
Well, so this is what we were just talking
our
about.
social media queen here is
No.
the winner.
Yes, Maria.
Yeah.
But so I'm an admin. We're all admins. All of us are admins on our social accounts. And I'm sitting there last night and I'm like, oh, we got some votes in. And sure as shit, Chris voted for himself. So I was like, what the?
First of all, you always vote for yourself.
Okay. He has
Do you
this
think
skewed
a
perception
politician doesn't vote for themselves?
during voting.
Yes.
You think they do?
100. Yes, 100%. They
Okay.
go and
Well,
they vote
anyway,
for themselves.
I don't know. Anyway, I
Because your
always,
vote, you're
I,
voting for American. Your ballot has.
So we just sat in this room and we asked Maria who won, and she was explaining the votes, and she said to me,
She said
to me, well, you got 2 votes, but one of them was yours, and I said, well, one of them was Chris's, and she
Yeah.
was like, oh, so
right.
technically, we just found out Maria
unless
won.
Maria voted for herself as well.
She did not, because normal humans don't do that.
So that means that she'll be declared the winner after the podcast, and we'll do that. So anyway, we had a great time.
Well, it's been, Halloween week has been interesting.
It's been
It's like
spooky
been a
here.
series of unfortunate. What is
Events.
that? What
It's a
is
book.
that book?
It's a movie.
A no good, very bad
No.
something day. A no good, very bad,
there is a thing that
unfortunate
says
day.
no. There is one that says a series of unfortunate events. That's
Okay.
I think like Jim Carrey was like the main character. or
Well,
something.
anyway, it has been. There's been things.
There's
like
been things.
we decided this week, and just little things, but little things add up.
So, for those people who have small businesses, and, we actually own some venture called Budget Banking, which is all about teaching people to budget and do that. And we have a budget for the office. We have a budget for our house. We have everything else. And you know what? I'm not afraid to say that people make mistakes. I make mistakes sometimes. But our internet went out yesterday, like turned off.
No. It was not yesterday. It was the day before yesterday.
So it was before Halloween.
And also
At the end of the day.
It was
like
4:30.
4:30. It was like really weird time.
But
I went
at the-
online.
but
It
at
said
the
no
time-
service outages.
Well, hold on. At the time, I was like, "Oh, it's out," and I was kind of like, "This is a sign that it's time for me to go."
free
Like,
to leave the office.
yeah, it was like 4:30. It was almost the end of the day, and it was just like, man, someone really wants me to just get home to my puppy dog, because that's another unfortunate event we'll talk about in a second. She's fine, everyone. She's fine. But yes, so the internet goes out, and you discover why.
So I log into the app and it says you need to make a payment, and I'm like, okay. So I click the button.
But you were confused because you thought.
I thought that we were on
Auto
payment,
payments.
and here's the reason why. We are on paperless. Okay, like it's clearly checked that we are paperless, but we do not get any emails that say, "Hey, your bill is due."
But what's so crazy is you had,
Made a payment in September,
but also you had a card on file.
and I had a card on file. Like
Like,
I didn't have
even-
to add a card or
That's
anything.
what I was going to say. Even in companies, when you're not set up for auto pay, if you haven't paid a bill, they're usually like, okay, here's a perfect example because we were going to get into Amazon anyway. My dad and I,
You're changing stuff up before we finish.
I'm
the other one.
sorry, I'm all over the
So
place.
so basically, we got to finish the internet. Basically,
Yes.
at the end of the day, my fault, I guess, right? Like I don't make mistakes very often. today was the one. I make a mistake like every 300 days
That he admits to the world.
that I admit. And so the reality is that I had the card on file. I guess I didn't click the auto pay, but we've been here for 8 months. Okay.
And somehow the bill's been paid.
the bill's been paid. And so literally we get, I was like, there's no way that I didn't see this or whatever. So I went back to my emails, did a search for Frontier, not a single email like, hey, here's your
called
bill,
them out.
your bill's due, whatever. So unless you
was
log in
Frontier.
and see your bill and pay, it doesn't get paid. So basically we reached the threshold where they basically said we were deadbeats and they turned off our internet.
Suspended our account.
Suspended our internet. And by the way, when they did that, we paid within 2 seconds because I went into the app
'Cause our
and I
internet
clicked the
went out.
button because the internet went out. So I make a payment, and we're literally
You
like
would think-
24, 48 hours.
Well, you would think they would turn your internet right
Right
back
back on.
Like, look, there's no service issues.
So we had a
There
call.
wasn't a payment.
They're
There's
like,
been a
we're going to
payment.
put a ticket in. I'm like, you don't need to put a ticket in. You need to hit the magic effing button that says internet on. And that's what you need to do. Like, who needs a ticket? Like, someone didn't come out here and turn a switch to turn it off. So
No.
no one coming out here
Yeah, we know
to turn the switch
the
back
fiber
on.
optic cables are still underneath the building.
Yeah, you sent a message to the box that said, shut off the deadbeats, okay? I want you to send a message that says, turn the deadbeats back on.
Turns out
They're
they
not
sold drugs
deadbeats.
overnight and paid their
They
bill.
had a little bit of ching-chang. So it's like change in Chinese. So, anyways, we paid. So, but we all worked from...
So we came in yesterday, which was Halloween.
Which was
so,
Halloween.
So it's Halloween
No
day.
internet for Halloween.
Hold on, it's Halloween day. We're meant to have we've decorated our desks all month. We're meant to have a judge come in who's decided not to come, who
Yes.
couldn't come. He didn't just
Maybe
decide.
he's sick. I don't know. But he didn't see like, hey, I'm really feeling sick. I don't want to get your employees sick. I don't want to get your team sick.
He just said, thanks for paying for my lunch that I'm not going to eat. I'm
Yeah.
also not coming.
We could just totally mention that throughout this entire thing. I think that would be really good.
But anyway, so he's not coming. You go in, the internet's still not on. And I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I'll call them. I'm going to have a word with these people.
Oh my gosh. So call.
So I call, and the guy's like on the phone. And customer support is very frustrating sometimes. And I would say
we
more
talked
so.
about this just 2 episodes ago about just like how you can beat your customers if you just have great customer support and service.
And how things can happen that are frustrating, and it's how you handle those situations that matters even more. And so long story short, I'm on the phone with this guy, and he's like, first of all, it takes forever, to get through the prompts and to get to someone and whatever. And I'm just like, hey, at this point, it has been 12 hours, not 24 hours, but it's been 12 hours, if not more. Like we're almost.
What are you talking about?
When I called, it was like in the afternoon. You had paid the day before.
Well,
The
it'd been
ticket was for
24 hours.
Yeah, almost, not yet, because it went off at 4:30. This is the middle of the day. But I was like, hey, like, what can you do to expedite this? I'm like, we have some really important client meetings. We've got employees working from the office. Everyone's hot spotting. I was like, we cannot shut down our business. And I did say, I was like, you had a payment method on file. I was like, you did not notify us that auto payment was glitching or not set up or whatever. And you've shut the system down. I said this exact same thing. I'm like, you should be able to flip this back on. Like, who do I need to talk to that has the magic button?
Right.
And this person was like, okay, well, the best thing I can do is submit this form in this email. And I'm like, okay, I can email. You know what I mean? You're like, dude, I just called you and talked to you for 20 minutes for you to tell me you're going to now email support within your own company?
Like I called support.
no
It
joke.
reminds me of this poster that my uncle has in his garage, and it's called a SWAT because he was on the SWAT team, and it was like even the police need help.
Well,
So I feel like support is like
No.
it's like okay, we're like tier 1, right? And really it's
There
like
are.
tier like 4.
There are tiers, okay? And I get that. But inside of those tiers, there's an expediting process. I know there's ticketing processes. I know there's softwares and systems that keep track of it all. But you should be able to transfer me or do something. Or communicate yourself. Just be like, I will hold for 5 minutes if you can live chat somebody and tell me. But don't tell me you're sending an email out into the abyss. And he finishes sending the form and he's just like, okay, ma'am, well, it will be up up to 24 hours. And I was like, no, it was 24
24
hours
24 hours ago.
yesterday. So I'm going to need you to tell me it's going to be a maximum of 3 hours and you've actually solved my problem.
I need 30 seconds, really. Again, signal sent.
So we go through this process, and I know we're dragging this on, but I'm like, I also was not an administrator on the account. And I was like, can you please make me the point of contact for this account so I can call in and get what I need quicker? And they were like, well, we need the owner of the account to do it. So I get you on the phone. I said,
She walks over to my desk and it puts it on speakerphone, and they're like,
what's your birthday?
what's your birthday? No big deal. I'll give him a birthday.
No, he gave the wrong birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday. Why were they asking me for your birthday? First of all,
Because they were adding me to the account. Anyway,
there's 3 days between Bree and Becky's birthdays, 24 and 27.
You'll like
I
that, Bree.
tried
He
to
said your
remember
birthday.
them.
I was like, that is
Okay.
your daughter.
And every time someone asks me for either of their birthdays,
He does get 'em wrong.
I stop and I sit there and I go,
You should
"What's
know this,
the
though. Your
jingle
daughter's-
that I tell myself."
There is no jingle.
No,
You
there is,
might want
'cause
to
I always
create
say
one.
The first is older. So it's like, okay, Becky's older, 24. But then I mess up and I go, okay, wait, but 27 is bigger than 24. I need a new jingle in my head because it's like.
So he's on the phone with the Frontier guy. He gives
Yeah.
him the wrong date. And he's so confused. He's like, why do you need my wife's birthday? Well, and then the guy on the phone is like, she is your wife, isn't she? Like, he's like going, who is this man who doesn't know her
Right.
birthday?
And then he asks for her social security number. And I'm like, this is scam. Like, even though we called Frontier, like, no, like, what
why
in the
would you
world
need my soch?
on a business account do we need the soch?
Oh,
for,
it was
like, it's
insane.
not like we're setting up an account. We're like going to track
So
your credit.
I was so angry. We hung up.
Oh my God. I just like hang out with this joker. Like, I was kind of rude, but I'm pretty sure we were talking to a bot.
Well, so here's the thing. This whole week, and we have
What
talked
is your
about
social?
We have talked about customer service, but like there's been a couple of different tools that I've used. I've utilized, I'm not trying to throw any tools under the bus, but like Gusto, our HR software, Klaviyo, our email client. Klaviyo actually, I will say, is good if you email in. Their live chat is like not so helpful, but like
The live chat on Frontier, I have to mention this while you said that.
Yeah.
It literally was like, is your internet out? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
And then it was like, is your internet out? And I'm like, yes. and it just kept repeating. And I was like, okay, I'll refresh the page because I have some patience when it comes to, because we
Tech.
build tech.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'll give them a chance.
What?
Maybe there's a
I'll
bug.
just refresh this. Maybe there's a bug.
No.
Is your internet out? Yes. Can we help you? Yes. Is your internet out? Yeah. I mean, it was like over and I was just like,
So I was live chatting earlier this week, our HR software, and I tell them about this issue. I'm on this chat for 15 minutes. I'm like, here's what's happening. This is what I need you to help me with. So after explaining the whole thing and them barely getting it right, they then send me this computer generated response. And it was like, it seems like your issue is, and it's like, step 1, step 2. And it literally says what I've been telling them for 15 minutes. And then it says, but we're trying to change an address, couldn't populate the state field. And they were like, but we can't do that. So you're going to have to contact the computer generated support note said, you're going to have to contact support. I was like, that's what
I'm on support.
doing. That's who you are. And I literally started going, is this AI? I started asking it. I was
course.
like, is this about, no, this is a real person. So then again, you're going to have to email. I was like, well, I could have emailed 20 minutes ago and gotten this over with.
a frustrating section.
hold on.
Whoa,
I didn't
you're
even
getting violent. She's
touch
like
him.
hitting me during
So-
we're like
so-
worked up today. Like,
So I email thinking I'm actually going to get some help.
Yeah.
And the response from my email was the mother from the chat that says, hi, this is blah, blah, blah from the chat we just had. I'll forward your email on to whoever need. And I'm like, ah! Like,
so they asked you to email them?
no, it was a support email. And then they are the ones who
Received it? Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
So when I know.
That is horrific.
It was like like you feel like there's like a robot and you're like, okay, no, I'll call. And then the phone answers and it's like, this is Sally. And you're like, no, Sally, please, for the love of God, give me
I
some
have done that once before where I've gotten something and I'm like, did I just talk to you? Like, I don't know who is this. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just talked to you. I need someone else. And they're just like, well, no, who is this? And I'm like, no, abort.
But then they're like, sure, sir, I'll transfer your call. And they're like, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what is going on? Like, I would actually, it reminds me of like, so I get a lot of spam calls and a lot of like from India and overseas. They're like, hello, do you need a website? And I'm like, and it's because we're in tech. We have like phone numbers and everything. And anyway, I get these calls.
You really got to stop trying to
Make impersonation. So I started doing this thing where, and typically I'd answer the phone. I'd be like, sorry, like, please take me off your call list, hang up. And then I got to the point was, I wonder how long I could keep these people on the phone for. And so I would sit there and I'd get the call and be like, hello, would you like to us to build you a website? And I'd be like, yeah, man, hold on a second. I got to get these monkeys out of the cage. And then I would just start going, and we would pull up
you'd play YouTube videos
of like background. So I like play like chimps in the background, like, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, hold on,
screaming.
I got to get these things under control. Yeah, I'm totally interested. Just hang on a second, And I would keep them, and like the max was like 20 something minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, and then we would sit there and be like, I'd be like, get the guns, and then I'd put like guns on, and we'd be shooting, and like, we're getting overrun, and they would, oh, sir, are you okay? I'm just like, I'm fine, just hold on, I'll be there with you in a minute. It was intense.
It's probably the best calls I've ever had. You need to silence your phone over there, sir.
I'm sorry.
We are on
intensity.
a podcast, but it has been a week of just crazy mishaps, and then I was gonna do a grilling.
No, you forgot Pepper. That was the last of our Halloween week.
Well, no, this was another unfortunate event. Before we even talk
really?
about Pepper, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Making. So it's Halloween, and we have a steak seasoning. It's actually a seasoning that can be used on many things, and so we were gonna do ribs for the first time. Your brother loves it on ribs, whatever. And we were gonna do a dead man's chest, which is like the ribs look like
ribs with like a pepper in between.
Yeah, a roasted pepper that looks like a heart.
I didn't see
You
the
can
big picture of the
stab
knife
it with a
and
knife. It's live. You can see it.
Okay, awesome.
But anyway, we were putting it in the smoker, and it had already been like and
it's outside, right? Because we do cooking inside when we have vents on, but we were like, yeah,
not with the smoker.
That
thing's no joke.
yeah. Well, you put that outside, just start smoking.
Well,
so
we did it inside once. And
we
never
started
again.
it. It was like, well, let's move this out. We actually started it, and then we're like, yeah, this is too much. Let's take
The
it out.
whole office was smoked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're halfway through it. We're supposed to be halfway through it anyway. I go outside. The whole thing's off. It was an electric smoker, which people probably don't even, which is wild, but it's this Ninja.
And it tripped the breaker. It
it's
actually
amazing.
tripped like a GFI outlet or something.
Yeah. And we love this grill, like love it. And this is the first time that I was like, oh, there is
cleaned?
a downfall. Yes. To an electric smoker. But anyway, so it turned off. I'm
we had
frustrated.
no idea how long it had been turned off.
Right. So
that
then
was what
your
was
whole
hard.
time's messed up. You're like, okay, this just totally. And I had to go run to the store and come back. I come back. I needed to grill the red peppers. I was like, do we have propane here? Because we just had all the hurricanes. I was like, oh, if the propane's at our house. It's one of those things where you're just like running around. And I was extra stressed this week because of Pep, our baby girl. It was very scary.
Yeah. And she was having some back problems.
She was having, it's either, hip, back.
Like a pinched nerve. She's having trouble like jumping up on the couch.
She literally wasn't coming for treats. And she is a pig. Like
she is a pig.
Like our dog not getting up and coming to the treat jar is like, oh my gosh, are you okay?
No,
like, it was
and that's why we were like,
scary.
This dog needs to go to the vet.
And she couldn't walk up the stairs, and she couldn't jump on the couch. She attempted and like didn't make it. And she's just this baby little French bulldog. Like it was so sad. And she always lays.
Just a French bulldog.
No, she's our daughter.
Ninja warrior
and
princess.
so she lay. Those people listening who don't like me referring to dogs as children.
Yeah, I know.
I do love her like
all
a child.
Dog haters out there, we
Trust
love
me.
her like a child.
No, I really do. Like
she's got clothes.
I don't know about you people,
Goes
but
on vacation with us.
she does go on vacation with us, and she does own a few clothes, but we're not those people who dress their dog up. She just has bandanas, customized bandanas.
Custom bandanas with her name on it.
But
It's like an embroidered shirt.
I'm just as upset when she's not well as I would be with a family member. And I'm sorry, hate me if you want to hate me. I love my animals and I love my people. And
I love your people too.
yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
But so she's got some pain meds. We took her to the vet yesterday. I was almost late for the vet. I mean, it's just fun.
It's just, yeah.
It's been a thing.
It's just been one of those weeks, and that happens. And I'll tell you what, this month, October, we've had 2 hurricanes. This was just a weird, stressful week with a lot of weird things happening, I think, overall.
Well, and we were going to leave early yesterday anyway because it was Halloween. And we like to be that company that's like, hey, we get it. Some of you have kids. You want to get home or you're going to hand out candy, like get out early.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the internet being out was like we're having
I just
such
wanted
a
to
weird
leave. I
day.
just want to be like, everyone leave.
Just get out of here.
Like, you know,
Can't
but
even
then
be
it's
productive.
not the right thing to do. I mean, it's like one, we could hotspot and get in there. Of course, Maria's pulling her hair out because she's got things to go out.
Oh, and by the way,
I got
we
people-
scheduled like 100 videos. We were like, okay, let's create all these videos. We're gonna launch them all on Halloween Day.
and she's got
the
like
newsletter's
nothing.
going out tomorrow. It was like, okay, can you get those 10 videos live?
Yeah, can you make dinner with no ingredients?
Seriously, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good, and get it up like first thing in the morning. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be great. So it was definitely a stressful day. But so we leave early, continuing our series of unfortunate events, and we're
Oh my gosh, yeah. So basically with the whole, this kind of goes back to the leaving on time because I'm about to have a mental breakdown here because she's like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what time do you want to leave? And I go, look, we need to leave early. Everyone and their moms.
We were
gonna
going
leave
to
work early to get home, to get their kids dressed,
Yeah.
then to go trick or treating, and we got to drive 30 minutes to your parents' out in Lakewood Ranch.
We were gonna go to
So
my parents'
We're
house.
like, hey, I'm like, we got to leave. I'm like, what time you want to leave? And I was like, 3:00.
And the reason we go is because they live in a neighborhood with
With
hundreds
kids.
of thousands
Hundreds
of
of
kids.
kids.
Yes. And we
And
want
so
to hand
we
out
want to
candy.
hand out candy to kids. And downtown, you just get. I don't want to hand out candy to homeless people. You know, like
There's no one that comes in our
I'm
neighborhood.
teasing. What I mean is like
hilarious.
no one's wandering
You're
the streets
hilarious.
except for the homeless people. So actually, we have people walking their dogs and stuff. It's actually a great community. But everyone downtown is taking their kids to communities that have kids that hand out candy.
That trick or treat in safe neighborhoods, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're driving to my parents' house.
Right. And
Oh,
so
he wanted to leave at 3:30.
I want to leave at 3.
I thought we were leaving at 3:45. Anyway, so it was like the second or third time I was late that day after the internet was out in the office.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm not even going.
He
I'm
was
just gonna work.
fire-
Like
he
I need
was-
to work anyway, so
He
like
was
I'm gonna work.
fiery
I was
yesterday.
like, fine, you don't want to go? I'm like, I'm the only one that wants to like do stuff. Go. Like a go.
But that's not even true.
Well,
just wasn't on your time.
It's my time frame.
So anyway, we
So
get
we get
in
in the car and we hit
For our-
traffic
for our
where
miserable
There was
ride.
like a 6-car pileup on Fruitville. And literally, we spent 20 minutes just in the thing.
Oh, it's-
and I just want to say that had we left the 15 minutes earlier, that wreck would have happened after we had
It
gotten
crossed
to
my
that
mind. And
area.
honestly, we're just very blessed and grateful that we weren't the people in the wreck. Everyone just,
We
it
just had
seemed,
more QT together.
it seemed like some rear ending. I know. I don't know how we got on the topic, but we talked about like crazy phases in life of music. And I was like, I did go through a weird music phase where I liked Korn. And
So then I put corn on because I love
and
corn.
I wanted to just stab my eyes out. Like it was a phase many years ago that I
was gonna do
never
my
want to
favorite
return
corn
back
and
to.
some Mudvayne and
Oh.
some Stain.
I was like, as if I
some
didn't already like want to
Five-Finger
get
Death
out of this car.
Punch. Yeah, it was like a holiday like death mix that we were listening to. Like I loved it.
horrible.
We got out of the car. She's like, I really actually think I'm sick, and I'm like, I had the best ride of my life just now because we never listened to that music. Like we listened to country or pop in the car.
It was brutal.
And you opened the door. I didn't even walk to the door.
It was
I
so
jumped through
brutal.
that door.
I think bug just landed on my forehead.
There's one around. I'm trying not to pay attention.
But speaking of bugs, then the bugs came out last night while we were handing out candy in swarms. It's like the minute that the sun sets in that
Yeah.
dusk hour, they come crazy. Now I will
We
say,
made a decision here. You know, we need to talk about some business while we're here. And,
we
you
gotta
know,
talk about Halloween first.
this is about Halloween, but we made the decision to turn off our Stay Cool.
Oh yeah,
We turned it off early, one, because we wanted Brandon to be able to participate in the whole office leaving early, and that would leave us with no one. We do have a team member that doesn't celebrate, and we could have pulled the trigger on that. But here's the thing. We made a decision that it would be safer with all these kids in the neighborhood not to have an order where our van was going to be in a neighborhood filled with kids. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but
not at all.
for
Are you
us,
kidding
it was
me?
just like, you know what?
I was going
These
like-
little kids run out and they start going at 5 and we service till 7. So it was kind of like, you know what? Like, we don't want to put anyone in a position to get hurt. Not that our drivers like driving around and
No, but I was
crashing into things.
getting out of the neighborhood last night. I was going like 2 miles an hour, and I was
We
still,
were.
I was
we
still
were
nervous.
having to be so nervous.
And there were cars
getting
parked
out.
all over the road because
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine us trying to fulfill an order,
No.
in that situation.
No, it would've been crazy.
I'm so sorry for those of you that lost air conditioning last
Well,
night.
there was a woman who called today, and you answered the phone. You were like, "This is Stay Cool. How are you?" or whatever, and she was like, "Well, I'm not cool."
I'm not cool, and I was like, I think you're kind of cool because you called us.
He
So,
was like, "Well, that's good for us.
I said that's actually good for us. If you're not cool,
We can get you some
we'll
AC."
get you cool.
But last night was great. Like we said, my parents live in a. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I got the bug. I really did. It was driving me nuts.
You are filled with so much energy today.
I actually got it, which is
first of all,
impressive.
watching, you guys, she was. It wasn't quite punching, but it definitely was like
I just
some
pumped
pushing.
it.
And then you just reached over and violently hit that animal. That
It was
poor
not.
thing.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
Do not even make me out to be that person.
I can't believe that thing.
But
Its guts are all over.
There was no. First of all, it was a gnat. Second of all, like if it was a lizard or
Am I
something,
being dramatic?
and I could cup a lizard in my hand, and I would absolutely put it outside.
If you went and did what you just did that to a lizard, we'd be in counseling.
Oh my god, I would never. I could never.
I'd be like, I don't know who I married. Like,
Oh, there was a lizard in our house the other day. That never happens. But anyway,
oh my God. I just want everyone to know today, I actually did not contribute to the notes today. So the notes
is
today
my
is just our
podcast.
life. It's Beck's podcast. She kind of did it and I didn't have time. So I just printed out the notes to go through and sanitize them.
yeah, leave your comments about how this was your favorite episode ever.
Actually, I'm having a good time. So.
But
I mean, that's why we actually do this, to have a good time.
I know.
It's really the purpose, because when you're having business, and we say this all the time, right? Like, you're going to go through a lot of stressful things. And one of the kind of like the sayings that we have is that we're saving deals, we're not saving lives. And if you get too
We've
serious,
talked about that before.
it's just one of those things. And we said that yesterday when the internet went out. It was just like, hey guys, you know what? We're saving deals, not lives. Like the internet being out, it sucks, but you know what? We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Let's eat more candy. Like, we were all happy because
That's
we had
the problem. I've had
big
too
old
much
thing
candy.
of candy that one of our team members brought in.
I know Marie made cookies.
And Marie made cookies.
I know. It was good.
It's insane.
Everyone was ready for the judgment.
I know.
Rich.
So Maria was going to bribe the judge.
We told her
Which
that
is why
that was
Megan
allowed.
brought in candy.
Yes.
I can't. It's now occurring to me.
I told everyone,
what's
whatever you want to
happening.
do on Judgment Day is up to you. And they came prepared, and Rich let him down. Rich had
let them down.
homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Cookies were made for him.
I know.
Candy was brought in for him.
I know.
Vegetarian tacos
I
were
know.
ordered for him.
I know.
Oh, Rich.
But so while we were in the neighborhood last night, I will say this: Halloween in Florida is so much better than Halloween in Michigan, because I grew up in Michigan, and some years, now this year I heard it was like 70 degrees. So amazing for the Midwest. But in my lifetime, it would be raining. It's snowed on Halloween before. You would be like in your costume with a winter jacket on. But ain't nobody coming out of their house and sitting on a driveway to hand you candy. Like, you're knocking on every door. You're a little kid. Like,
you're putting
you
the
are
work in.
walking up steps.
We're now. I don't even know where that tradition started, because it was always knocking on doors.
Even here in Florida?
Yes.
Really?
The whole sitting out and setting up in driveways is
I
literally
love it.
Is literally like certain communities with lots of people can do it. Where I love it too. By the way, I love setting up in the driveway.
We put a
and just
table
putting
out. We got a
chairs,
tablecloth. The neighbors are grilling hot dogs and
Yeah.
sausages. There's
we had our
chips
pumpkins out with lights.
We ordered
like,
pizza.
I'm definitely digging it.
Yeah. People have haunted houses, music. I mean, it's fun. Like,
We had
people are
music
out with
last night.
wagons.
We're gonna do a DJ. We're gonna do a ghost DJ station next year.
Yeah, Chris
I talked
spent
to your dad. And I
the
was
whole
like,
night just envisioning an even bigger Halloween the next year. But
Yeah, because this year we doubled down on the full size bars, and then
we're we have always been the king size
Beck's
house.
parents are the king size house, and so the kid. You know what? And in one hand, you sit there and you're like, okay, it's a little bit more money, but then when you see the excitement of these kids when they get a full size candy bar, their eyes light up.
Okay, and also, like, and it happens every year. About an hour after you start, people start showing up, and they're like, "We found it!
Yeah.
The king size house!" And then, like, sometimes last night, okay, so they only had so many king size candy bars at Costco, and we had to go get a bag because we just needed extra candy. We went through like 300 pieces of candy in an hour and a half. This neighborhood's insane.
Insane.
But we just had to switch to small candy.
We
And
did switch to small candy.
These poor kids.
That will never happen again.
No, we
by the
promise
way.
you, children
I
of
literally have a
Greenbrook.
note in like September, like even August. It's like start candy purchases.
No, don't tell people that. Then they'll think our candy's old.
No one's gonna listen.
I'm getting
to
fresh
this
candy.
next
Don't worry,
year.
children. But
Fresh candy. How
okay,
do you think-
another
Oh
crazy
my
thing
gosh.
happened last night.
What?
Someone asked to use my mother's
Yes,
bathroom.
we had a random stranger that just said, "Can we use your restroom?"
No, this woman looked at me. She was like, "Hey, next door is really busy. We're gonna need to use your restroom." Like she like assumed the position. I was like, you're gonna need to talk to the owner of this household because my answer is no. Our injured dog was inside. I was
know.
like, oh,
It was
God.
weird. I looked at the girl and she's just sitting there, and then I thought
She
to
was a
myself,
little girl. She had to pee.
And then I thought to I actually did think this. I thought to myself, either this girl really has to pee, or she's nervous because this is her first break-in. She's been training
The
with
mom's
this.
using
the
her.
mom's using her to
You
distract.
just don't know
You
these
just don't know.
days. And like this woman, like what? And they took their sweet ass time
Because
in
the
there.
little girl climbed up through the AC system, went into your parents' bedroom,
Came down
accessed the safe,
No.
took the jewelry.
By the way, me and our injured puppy were in the master bedroom, so nothing got stolen.
I'm telling you that something
it was crazy
amiss.
town. It was weird. It was just
Just a weird Halloween.
But then and the woman like she comes in and she's like, "So what happened to the dog? Did you?" And it's like, "Just pee,
Pee and leave.
get out of the
Pee and
house."
leave. I'll tell you what, having a porta potty out on the street and then maybe charging. Here's your business. Here's our business tip for this episode. Porta potty, busy street, Halloween.
Okay, you want to know my
$5.
business trip? Trick or treat in your own neighborhood. And you know what? I don't mind you going to other neighborhoods that are more popular. Just know a home that you can go to of someone that you actually know where you can pee.
That's true.
Like it doesn't take that long to get
Yeah.
back home. How far did you walk?
People walk far.
She was like, she's made it all the way since school. I was like, so you put your daughter in a costume and didn't
went
ask
out
her to
and
pee
didn't go to the
first.
bathroom before you went trick or
You
treating.
knew she'd be on
That's
these
like
streets
universal
for,
law
like,
of owning kids.
right?
I mean, do you own kids or
No,
you just raise kids?
you don't own them.
The universal law of raising kids is you go to the bathroom before any major event.
I know it was crazy, but it was also so funny because we don't live there, and this guy I worked with 7 years ago. Him and his family walked by the house, and he was like, "Hey," and I was
Oh, we
like,
saw
"Oh my
all
gosh."
kinds of people.
My neuro-ophthalmologist was there. I'm telling Maria because we were just talking about this the other day. I had an appointment earlier in the week, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, doctor!" I
Yeah.
won't say his name, but and then I was like, "This is my mom. This is my dad." He was like, "Okay."
Now that I think about it, you didn't introduce me. I mean, I've
Yes,
met
I
him.
did. Oh no, you
I've
know
met
him.
I know him, but you didn't introduce
You
me.
came when the appointments were more traumatizing than they are
Yeah,
today.
they were. When you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm going to live. I'm like, you're going to be fine.
Okay, long story
Some
short,
people just get really dramatic.
dramatic.
Yes.
That first appointment when we found out I was not feeling well, and they looked at me and said, "We need to do another test to determine if we need to call an EMS because you could be having a brain aneurysm at the moment, or if we can schedule an MRI for later." I'm fine, by the way, everyone. Thank you for your concern.
I look at people
How
like
is
that,
that
and I'm like,
dramatic?
literally, do not tell her that. You need to tell me that.
Then they-
I will relay the
By the way,
message to her that
they were
something
like-
might be wrong.
They were like, "You could just have high blood pressure," and I'm like, "Well, I certainly fucking do now."
Yeah, I know. She's like, and then you're sitting there, and I could just see her shaking, like, and the shake is like coming across your body, and I'm like, oh, you don't understand. This woman, you'll sit there and say, hey, your toenail is a little bit redder than normal. You'd be like, oh my, you get your phone out, you're like, red toenails, what does that mean? And
Okay.
it's like, oh, and one out of 100,000 people die.
Here's the thing. I do Google, okay? I'm not like a WebMD girl. Like I know to only take it with a grain of salt, but I am pretty accurate with the research that I find these days on
That's
medical
because
conditions.
the information out there is so accurate. Like, I'm always amazed when people bring business ideas
I have
and
been-
they ask me, they're like, hey, what do you think of this and that? And I go, did you Google it? And it's like, this exists a lot already.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I've
probably
been,
my biggest pet peeve is when I give up time to go over a business idea that is very much they should have Googled and realized that one, there's just too much in the space. But the problem is that everyone adds like one feature and they're like, I got a new product. It's like, no, you have old product with an extra feature.
Well, all I was going to say is I've been to the doctor before where the doctor has literally Googled right in front of me. And I'm like, dude, I could have done this. It's like, at least tell me you got to go outside for 5 minutes and Google something.
I need to go pull my, you know what? There's an old book on my shelf from college.
Exactly.
Like, say that.
Please.
There might be something in there. I remember.
But just so everyone knows, everyone's Googling, even the doctors.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just telling you, it's the case. And here's the other thing, and we are getting short on time here, but one of the things I want to talk to everybody about is how in the world do you manage juggling family surrounding the holidays?
How do I?
Just people in general. It's always so hard, I feel like. The
You know,
older you get, like as you're
depends if
married
you
and
move.
both.
Yeah.
It depends on what family is close.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
But
I think
even-
it has to do with who people are in their lives. I think it has to do with what spouses people have. You know, the thing is like I'm always about
How
big
old the
family,
kids
how old
are.
the kids get. You know, we're at that age right now where on my side of the family, a lot of the kids are way older, and
They're getting
your
older,
side of
yeah.
the family, everyone's spread out. So where you have cousins and everyone, but everyone's either in Michigan,
Yeah, we're
or
geographically spread
Seattle.
out.
That's what I'm saying.
But then the years that you are trying to get together, it's like there's travel involved. And like, is that an every other year thing?
Well, first of all, I
Like,
don't think anyone gets together. When you say holidays, you're specifically talking about like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because no one has like Halloween like you have Halloween parties with friends.
not Halloween.
Not with like
oh my gosh, we didn't
family.
even talk about the block party. We didn't even talk about our party.
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Halloween parties,
I wonder.
forget the family gatherings for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. So we had our annual.
No, I wanted to give the best budgeting tip in the entire world.
Yes. Oh, you mean with the drinks?
Yes.
So last year, we did spirit.
We're off. Good luck planning
And-
holidays with your family. And
So this kind of goes back to like budgeting and everything else. And so we invited a bunch of people over, and we created a spirit menu, and it had 4 different drinks. And last year, I mixed every cocktail, which meant I was literally the bartender.
like by hand with the
and
shaker.
With shaker, made them custom, put them in their thing. We
And the
washed
minute
glasses
someone's
in
drink is
between.
gone, like someone's like, I'll try the rum
I was like,
punch
yeah, I'll
next.
try the next one.
Yeah.
And everything. So this year, what we did was
We batched.
We batched, and so we bought a bunch of like really big jars
Crafts.
like crafts, and then we just basically batched the day before, the morning of.
Yeah, we picked 4 drinks.
We picked 4 drinks,
And we were like,
and we
okay.
switched some drinks because, like, for example, you can't do a whiskey sour batched. Like that would probably not be great because it's got egg
You
whites
can
in
with
it.
disgusting sour mix, but we don't do ours like that. We do real whiskey sours with lemon and egg whites.
And egg whites. So we switched that drink out. We actually did a dangerous drink, which was tea and lemonade and whiskey, and it was like the most delicious drink. And it was.
I
like
kept
water.
smelling them and being like, "No, I think it needs more."
She kept telling me, she's like, I think it needs more. I'm like taste testing, right? So like the day of,
3 in
I've
the
already-
afternoon, he's
I
like,
taste
5
tested
shots.
all 4 drinks. One was non-alcoholic, and I've had like 2 drinks of each. So I've done basically like 4 or 5 shots in a pre thing, and I was like,
I know. Before
"Man,
people
I'm
came over,
exhausted.
he was like, "I might
I think I need to take a nap." Like I'm like, you know.
I know. But we went downtown to the block party, which is super fun. Our downtown area shuts down all of Main Street, all of the side streets.
So we've had
and
2 hurricanes, and they still had all the block parties up. There was the
know.
lights that were out and stuff, but they had all
Yeah,
the
the
big
streets
party
were
stuff
darker.
up, and it was jamming like it always is.
I know they do a Halloween costume contest, like where these people come up on stage. And I mean, some of the costumes are unreal. We're talking like there's thousands of people that come downtown and they're standing like shoulder to shoulder and like squeezing through the streets. But we happened to be there when the Halloween costume contest was starting. And some people
It's
looked amazing.
very nice. Costumes.
And of course, Chris is sitting there, multiple whiskey lemonades deep, and he's like, "I'm gonna win the costume contest."
Seriously, when I put
next year."
my heart into something, I'm
I just
not,
don't know.
I'm really
that's what you
unstoppable.
need to put your
when
heart into.
you know what, we'll see how it goes next year. Just remind me because I think I
I'm
might
not
do it.
reminding you of
Well,
that.
I'm going to make myself a note because I actually know exactly what my costume is going to be to win. I'm going to have a winning one.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going to be the Thing from the Fantastic Four.
the thing.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
it's okay. You'll see.
Oh, and speaking of knowing costumes, he is literally like a mastermind. Every child that came to the house last night, he was like, "Are you the crocodile from Peter Pan? Are you the?" He was
Are
like,
you Master Chief? From
he was
Halo?
like, yeah, like he knew
My
names.
favorite one.
I'm
was
like, you look like a bird.
This family came over, and I go, you are the greatest showman. And the guy looks at me and he goes, "You're the first. Everyone keeps calling us the family circus, but you're the one that knew." And I'm like, "I got you, bro."
And I will
that
say-
guy was like, it meant it means everything.
I
to
was going to
people.
say, people coming to our house had a better time because you were there and you knew what they were trying to be versus like me and my mom and my dad were just like, "You look so good tonight."
Right. And I'd call them out. I'd be like, "You are," and they in that interaction, that level, which, and again, I'll try to bring some business into the podcast.
Why?
Which is, oh, sorry. It's got to be the best podcast ever. Yeah, this is the Halloween podcast
You know,
episode.
sometimes after a week like the week we've had, we just need to like not.
Relax
Work.
and stuff. Okay, I'll save it for next time. But there is one thing I want to make sure that I hit before we end. It's very important. If you are listening and you are in the Spring Hill area, I want you to come on Saturday, which is November 2nd, to the Veteran Park at Spring Hill.
There's an art show.
There's an art show there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with my cousin.
You're so sweet.
She is visually impaired and she has art, and it will be available for sale. And she asked us personally if we would mention her on our podcast.
Yes.
And so if you live anywhere in the Tampa, kind of like the Brandon, the Brooksville
Area.
all those areas up there in Florida, it's about 2 hours north of where we're at. I will be there, and I'm not signing anything or anything like that, but I'll
If someone asked for your signature, I'm sure you'd give it to them.
I'm trying to be funny. Like it's,
Well,
anyway,
Laura's art is signed by Laura, but
yeah, it's art through Laura's eyes. So
yes.
if you see us there, please mention that and
say hello.
I'd love to say hello and
But I will
introduce you to Laura.
For those of you who don't know, Chris is literally the most incredible family man, and that goes all the way to his cousins. I mean, great dad, great brother, great son. He does everything for everyone he loves, but
that's very
he's
nice.
truly helped, get business cards and signs printed and drives. I mean, this show starts set up at 8 a.m. So he will be leaving Sarasota to make a 2-hour drive to get her, then get to the show to set up, stay all day, and then come back home. So I am not
you know what?
participating in
Just
the drive,
that
but
is, I mean, I could probably talk for a full episode on just little teeny steps that we take. So each year, every 8 months that I help out, I always try to bring something new to her booth.
to her art
We
sales.
added a banner one year. We added stickers where she could sell stickers for $1 of her guide dog. We sold
And they're really
made
cute
stands.
stickers.
We redid her outlines of things. We got her on Square. Like, so literally it's like,
I know. I'm so glad you remembered to say something because that's tomorrow.
that's tomorrow.
Like today's Friday. I don't even know where the week went. And speaking
Yeah.
of which, we are like almost.
We're not technically out of time. It's really,
Time
it's
is
a guideline.
Time is of the essence.
Time's of the essence.
I'm gonna go get. I said we shouldn't be working, but I do actually have work
Stuff
to
to
do.
get done.
Speaking of business, we don't talk business; we just do.
You're speaking my language now. Like, that's okay. All right. Well, hey, happy Halloween, everyone. Looking forward to some nice fall weather and gearing up for Christmas, which really started like 3 months ago. So until next time,
The decor in the stores did.
the
Anyway.
decor in the stores.
We'll see
It's
you next
crazy.
week.
See you next week.